I am so pleased to have on the line with me the host of the Stephanie Miller Show, Stephanie Miller herself, StephanieMiller.com. Hey, Steph.
Hello, Love Master. How are you? I missed you.
Where'd you come up with that?
That's on my show.
That's the first time I've heard that. Maybe I've just completely missed it elsewhere, but
because you're bringing the sexual healing to the Democratic primary.
I see. Okay.
By the sheer power, your sheer sexy superpowers.
I'm working on it today. I'm trying to recalibrate. What are the values of the Democratic Party? Did you see this article? Oh, geez, I'm losing my papers here.
Yes.
Not the first time that's happened. By Bethania.
I thought you meant your rolling paper. Did you mean your rolling papers?
Yeah, no, actually, those are at home. It's legal here in D.C. now.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation. But Bethania, I hope I'm not mangling her name. Palma Marcus, 3 days ago, wrote this piece over at Raw Story titled "Busted: Trump-Loving Commenters pose as Sanders and Clinton supporters to divide Democrats." And this guy comes on there and he says, if hundreds of accounts on the Hillary or Bernie side were saying even worse things about each other, it would make the divisions deeper, number one. Number two, if we got people to agree with us, the opposing sides would blast each other as dangerous extremists, but each of us would then defend the horrible tweets. Three, even if a few or if a lot of us were caught, it would increase distrust tremendously among anyone on the opposing side. I mean, I'm guessing you probably have too. I've been on the receiving end of Twitter storms that it really look suspicious to me. They're coming, half the accounts are accounts that have been opened in the last month. They got 35 people following them, and all of a sudden they're right. And so anyway, let me toss that to you, Stephanie.
You haven't talked about that, but people that know how to operate the Twitter machine better than I said it is easy to, and sure enough, it is easy to follow these people, and they absolutely were Trump supporters. I mean, I had one of them that posted on Twitter and Facebook this meme with my picture that said, Stephanie Miller says all Bernie Sanders supporters are uneducated and violent. Which, of course, I said no such thing.
Of course.
But then I start getting all this hate, and I mean, this is the season you and I have found ourselves in, I'm sure, where we're defending things we never said.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a characterization of your show or my show, but every time I tune into you, I go, no, that's the Thom Hartmann I know, incredibly smart, incredibly fair.
Well, we're trying, and when I tune into your show, I hear the same thing, and I by the way, I do tune into your show, and it's and both of us are clearly saying whoever the Democratic nominee is, we're going to do everything we can to get elected, and the last thing this country needs is a crazed, orange-headed. Nothing wrong with people with orange hair, but
that's my.
Yeah.
As my friend Greg Proof says, an orange Oompa Loompa married to a Slovenian pole dancer.
There you go. Oh, my.
But, and Tom, we talk about this on my show, and, you and I both know how, I had to say the other day, I'm not on Hillary's payroll. Tom is not on Bernie's payroll.
Oh, I wish I was.
Me too. I'm we have a hard enough time, as you know, making a go in progressive radio with what we're up against, and so I was saying something when someone's like, oh, I'm not supporting you or your sponsors anymore. I'm like, well, guess what? They're all the same sponsors. For me, Thom Hartmann, Bill Press. Right. So I said, good luck taking down, liberal radio entirely and then having no one to speak for you in the general.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And we need to be working together, all of us, to bring this country together. And I was so pleased. I don't know if you caught it this morning. It was just as I was leaving the boat to come home to come over here, and the TV was on MSNBC, I think it was, and Ed Rendell was on, and who has been a reliable Hillary surrogate. And they were asking him, well, what about this thing that Bernie said the convention might get messy? And Ed was like, well, of course it's going to get messy. People are going to argue about policy. People are going to argue about the future. This is what democracy is. This is what we want. This is good. This is good energy. Yeah. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but democracy's
messy sometimes. And Tom, as we've, seen with both of our shows, family gets messy sometimes. Families fight.
Yes. And that's what primaries are. Primaries are the family fight. And then after the family reconciles and you know, has Thanksgiving dinner, then they go out and, you know, play volleyball or something. I mean, it's just...
And it doesn't matter anymore that we cut the turkey first.
Right. Or who got the wishbone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I just want to, you know, thank and congratulate you, Stephanie, for you know, the great work that you're doing in Progressive Talk Radio, and plus, how's the Sexy Liberal tour doing? I know I was just in Minneapolis recently, and you were up there, weren't you?
Yes, despite all the people, the haters on Facebook and Twitter going, I'm not going to the Sexy Neo-Liberal tour.
Right.
It has been sold out in every city, Tom. We're having the greatest time. I think that, you know, even comedically, we have the most material we've ever had. I mean, you and I ever think we'd be discussing Donald Trump as a front runner for the Republican Party. But I think, secondly, it is energizing our base. And so we've had sold-out shows in Santa Fe, Madison, Asheville. This came from Minneapolis. And our next one, we're heading for the Philadelphia for the convention.
That's wonderful.
The night before.
You're going to get an email from...
I hope you'll join us.
Yeah, you're going to get an email from Ron, one of my producers on the TV show, was like, hey, can you get me tickets to Stephanie's thing? And I was like, we'll try. It's like, everybody loves you. Stephanie Miller, StephanieMiller.com. You can get all the information. Steph, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, Tom, I feel the same about you. It's an honor to be in this arena with you, and I love you, love your show.
Thank you. Stephanie Miller. We'll be right back.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.